right now is what's in the monitor, but they can hear us. So, but I'm gonna send this out to people. I gotta send it to Dot because she. Oh my goodness.
She is really fired up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Excuse me. Perfect. Watch share. There we go. Oh, transfer. That's odd. She doesn't pop up. Dorothy. Hmm. I hope she can get it. Because I can't, for some reason, I just can't. I'm not able to send it to her.
Uh,
Mm-mm. Let me check it. Perfect. Oh, let me try this way. I think I know why. Oh, the other. There she goes. She'll be happy now. Um, okay. Okay. And all right, here we go, folks. We are up and we are live, folks. Thank you for joining us this evening and on Square Media. The show is called The Project with Steve Rutherford. That's me, by the way. And but we have a really good show tonight talking about, fundamentally, we're talking about education. That's what we're talking about. And so I got to really be on my P's and Q's and some other things because there are two educators in the studio. So if I mess up in any way, I know I'm going to get graded on it. In the studio with us, Torben Ross, Kathleen Blake. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Well,
How are
thank
you?
You listen. I'm doing fantastic. We both, all three of us, know that Dot Guthrie got us to do this.
yes.
Yes.
But thank you, Dot. I appreciate you as always. And as always, we just met recently, but I knew from the very beginning. I mean, this woman is like not somebody to really mess with. She's always on the go doing stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
How long have you known Dot?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. 50 plus years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, my oldest is 54. So, yes, she was the library, and we would go over there for the stories in the evening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there
Is
was
that, I mean, here in Gaston County?
in Gaston County. Yeah, she was a Gaston County library, and we would go there, and she would read stories and have fun with the kids.
Oh, I'm sorry. So she was a storyteller.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She
Ah.
didn't tell you.
No, she probably said it, and it just went over my head because
Uh-huh.
she said so much stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Fantastic storyteller.
No wonder is where she is right now.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness. So, but tell just tell everybody a little bit about you. You're a retired educator.
Yes.
Where are you from, and what school did you go to? That kind of thing.
Okay. I am from Bessemer City.
Oh, BC.
Yes, small town down the street from Gastonia, and grew up on a farm. My parents were sharecroppers.
Is that right?
And yes, so my education from grade 1 through 12 was in the segregated schools, Stewart
Right.
Elementary School. And from Stewart Elementary, I went to Lincoln High.
Lincoln High. Okay.
Yes, Lincoln High,
Okay.
formerly Lincoln Academy, but that closed, and Lincoln High opened in 1955.
Tell me
And,
something real
yes.
quick. Where was the dividing line where black folks went to, I guess Lincoln? Which one did you go to?
I went to Lincoln High.
Lincoln High.
Uh-huh.
And then other folks went to Reed High.
Yes.
Because there wasn't that many black high schools back in the day.
Right, right. You had Lincoln High, Reed High, Highland High.
Oh,
And
Highland.
yes,
How did I forget
yes,
about that? But yeah.
yes. So depending on where you lived, the schools, you would go to those particular schools. And since we were on this, I guess you would say, with the western side
Right, right.
of Gaston County, we were at Lincoln Academy. And then
Ah,
those in the Belmont area went to Reed High.
Exactly.
Those in Gastonia went to Highland.
Right.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about that, though, there were students who were in High Shoals, Stanley, other areas, who were bused to Bessemer City, to Lincoln High,
Right.
because there were no high schools there. They had to pass the white schools,
I was going to say there were high schools there.
but not for us.
There were none that we could go to.
Yes, exactly. So they were bused to Lincoln. So we had a variety of African American students at
Wow.
Lincoln, some of whom lived even in Gastonia.
Is that right?
Went to Lincoln High, yes. Yes.
Okay. And so you went to Lincoln. Where'd you go to
To college.
Mhm.
I went to Talladega College, Talladega,
Oh,
Alabama.
okay.
Yes. Some of my teachers were from Talladega, so I guess that influenced me, especially my parents who were sharecroppers. They were going to say
Right.
yes to money, so I went to Talladega, and then I also studied at extension classes from University of North Carolina.
Okay.
Here in the Charlotte area, they came
Right.
out to the schools and did classes for exceptionalities,
Right,
to deal with
sure.
children of various inabilities or what have you.
Right.
And then I also took a couple classes or months at Belmont Abbey.
Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And continued working in building self, so to speak, or exposing self.
Sure. Yep.
I took classes at the Baptist Associational School at off Rankin Lake Road over there
Okay.
here in Gastonia.
Yep.
Yeah, seminary. Not to be a minister,
Right,
but to
right.
learn more instead of the word.
I understand.
So
Understand.
to just broaden my scope.
Then I'm guessing you married, had children.
I have 4 children. Well, I'm a widow now. I have 4 children,
Mhm.
3 sons, Christopher, Kevin, and Nigel, and 1 daughter, Natasha. Yeah, and Natasha is the nurse in the family.
Are any of them here?
Kevin and Christopher live in Gastonia.
Okay.
Yes, their families. But Nigel and Natasha and their families live in Charlotte.
Oh, but still in the
In
immediate
the
area.
immediate area,
Ah,
yes.
okay.
Yes, yes.
Interesting.
Yes, and I have several grands and great-grands. So I've been around a while.
I hear you. I
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah.
Torben, what about you,
Yes,
man?
sir. Grew up in Lincoln County,
Right.
and so I went to Iron Station Elementary School, Central, and then East Lincoln Junior High, as it was called
Oh,
back then.
wow. Yeah.
And then East Lincoln High School. And so went to NC State for my undergrad, and I got my master's from Gardner Webb
Ah,
right here. And
Okay.
currently working on my doctorate from the University of the Cumberlands out
Really?
of Kentucky. Yes, sir.
how did you? That's interesting because a few years ago now, but I was thinking about getting my master's. I'm like, why the heck am I doing that? Nothing wrong with it, but I decided against it. But I was looking at different schools. I didn't want to go to the NC States or the UNCCs or whatever. And I found a school in Paris called HEC Paris. Don't ask me what HEC stands for, I forgot. But I found out later that it was one of the top schools in Europe.
Wow.
It was, they always went number one and number two with another school. I'm sorry, but you were telling me about your life.
Oh, and I'm currently in Gaston County Schools, principal at Robinson Elementary School, in my 24th year in the school system. And
How long have you been a principal?
principal, this is my 11th year as a principal. So I've been,
Man,
oh yeah, it's great. No, it's great. I've been blessed to be at Lingerfeld Elementary School, Greer Middle School, Hunter Huss High School, go
Greer
Huskies.
Middle. That's right. Okay, yeah.
And,
yeah.
and now I'm currently at Robinson.
Wow. Married, kids.
Yes, sir. Toronto Ross, who's an educator as well, 24th year. She's a French teacher, South Point High School.
Oh, French.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we have a daughter, Madison, who's a sophomore at South Point, and
Right.
a son, Jonathan, who's in the 7th grade at Cramer.
My alma mater, South Point. Thank you very much. Just thought I'd throw that part in there.
Yeah.
So, but guys, listen, it's great to have you here. We're not in a rush. I'm not saying we're going to be here for hours, but we're not in a rush with anything. But we're going to talk about really three things: the African American Museum at Loray Mills, National Author Day, and real books versus tablets. First up, the museum. What do have you both been to it?
I am,
Yes.
yes.
What do
as
you
a-
think about it?
As a matter of fact, I'm on the board.
Oh,
Yeah, the planning board at the museum. And it's awesome. It's a dream come true.
is that right?
Yes, it is. I love studying about us
Sure.
and about cultures, period.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout high school, my teachers were very into that.
Right.
Being in segregated schools,
Right,
they
right.
could do that, right?
Yep.
But then when I became an educator myself, I wanted to continue that. So I taught as much as I could
Sure.
in the Gaston County schools the black culture
Sure. Yeah.
throughout the year, not
Yeah.
just February.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And my students were very involved and
Oh,
loved
good.
it. Yeah. As a matter of fact, my Caucasian as well as African American students were very into learning about the culture,
That's
about
awesome.
people. But then when Dot, we had talked about, Jimmy Biggers and I and some others had talked about we needed to have a museum in the area.
Right.
And
right,
he
right.
has been talking that for a long time, had been, he's deceased now.
Right.
But Dot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And God gave her the vision. Each of us did things in our churches pertaining to exposing our people to our culture. But when I heard that she was involved and wanted to do this, I called and said, count me in.
Oh wow.
And February the 16th, we came into the museum at Loray Mills.
Wow.
And it's been growing ever since. I mean,
Right.
there's a variety of interesting information that any and everybody should want to know about
Mhm.
the development of Gaston County and then also nationally. But anyway, it's very informative, well organized, and I think serving the purpose that God intended
Right.
through this group of us working with that
Right. Right.
museum, yes. As a matter of fact, today we had, I guess you would say, an appreciation for National Authors Day.
Gotcha. Okay. Mhm.
And we had Dr. Neal and his wife there to share with us about his mother,
Mhm.
Miss Julia Neal Sykes.
Oh,
who-
Miss Sykes. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
she was quite a person,
Right.
and she was one of the ones that I invited to my classes. My classes and I were blessed to have her
Right.
and to have Dot come and do book talks.
Oh, yeah. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and so the museum is something that is needed. It is growing, and we encourage everybody to come in and just see. And people who have things to contribute that are authentic, get in touch with our curator, and we can see whether or not we can have that or add that to our collection.
You know, it's funny you say that, and I'm trying to send you this live broadcast right now. But I'll do that in a second. But when I was there, I saw some old, you remember the old curling irons?
Yes.
And my mom was a beautician, And I'm like, I still have them. And I said, Dot, do you have any more? She said, no, wish we could get some more. I'm like, I've been saving them. She said, please bring them. I said, no problem. I'll bring them.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's nice to see that kind of thing here. It's nice to see it, period. Because when me and my family went to the museum in Washington, have you been to that?
Yes.
You?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Absolutely. Listen, you
Yes.
can't do it in a day.
You cannot.
Wow.
No way.
You cannot.
You start in the bottom floor, and probably when you get to like the third floor, you're like, okay, let's try to rush through the rest of it. But rushing through doesn't tell you the entire story.
It doesn't.
But I will say this museum can, at least it's beginning to tell the story of folks in and around this county.
Yes.
Things that we've done. I mean, listen, if you don't talk about it, if you don't document it, if you don't expose it, nobody will ever know.
Nobody will know.
Right.
So thank you to the museum. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm glad it's there.
Yeah. And people are bringing in items.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
you were there. You saw some of the things that were
I
there, like
did.
the old piano, the farm equipment, and
Yep.
all that stuff that I saw and had to help use on the farm.
Yeah.
The cotton and all that.
And then, and let's just talk about this too. Your parents were sharecroppers, you said, right?
Yes. Yes.
I tell people all the fairly often, we're not that far removed
No.
from those times.
That's right.
So don't, think that, that was 1,000 years ago.
No.
No.
No,
No.
not at all.
No. And it's really, we were there until 1951
Mm-hmm.
and came to the Van Tine area in Bessemer City.
Okay.
Yeah, so my dad farmed during the day and worked at Firestone at night.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So it's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And people are coming in asking and seeing, that this was a reality,
Right.
and we want to make sure that we're sharing the facts about what has gone on in Gaston County
Oh,
and the persons who have contributed to the development of this county. Yes.
And I know my children enjoyed it when on the opening. It was awesome to see that and see all of the history.
Yes.
They got to see their grandfather, who was the first major in the sheriff's department, Terry Chisholm. His picture sitting in there, so it was real eye-opening to them to see
Right.
that.
Okay.
And they was just like, his grandpa. It's almost
Right,
like they
right,
didn't
right.
know that's what he did.
I
even though we
forgot
knew
about that
Yes,
actually.
Yeah.
And so it was great to see that, to see Dr. Sadler, just all the different
Yep.
things that that I was able to also be a part of, as far as as he was our superintendent
Yep.
Yes.
when I was a teacher here in Gaston County. And just to see those things, and like you said, learn the history, because that's just it's always it's not shown or given to us.
No.
So I was happy to see it for myself, but my children really enjoyed it as well.
Right,
And
right.
so I was real happy to see them get to see the history of Gaston County.
Kathleen, tell me this.
Yes.
It says African American Museum,
Of history and culture.
right, Loray Mills.
Loray Mills.
Doesn't say Gaston County, it doesn't say Gastonia.
Right.
Why is that?
Well,
That sounds like a funding issue. I'm just asking. I really don't know.
that's important, but part of it is we are trying to be inclusive. I know it's at Loray Mill, that's the location.
Sure, I get
That's
that.
the
Right.
location. But the African American Museum of History and Art is inclusive of all the areas. We have all the municipalities represented.
Right,
and,
right.
And that, so I think that's one reason that is that and not small or on a scale of just focusing on one particular area.
Right.
And the museum does include things beyond Gaston County. That's another thing. So if we have it open like this, history and culture, period, but specifically African American history
Right.
and culture, yes. But we do have other things in there that are on the regional,
Sure, no, I
statewide,
get
and
that.
yeah. But that's the main thing. We're trying to make sure that everybody knows, because a lot of people don't know a thing about. You'd be surprised, a thing about Gaston County.
Right.
What they see now is what they think has been all the time.
Right.
And that's not the
true.
case.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. We have come from somewhere, and we need to make sure that we know that,
Right.
and that we have contributed.
Here's a funny thing. Miss
Yes.
Sykes, right?
Yes.
she was working with Dupree. You know Dupree?
Yes.
In the book, something
Just
in the
heard today.
sands,
Yeah.
footprints in the sands of something.
That was mentioned today. Yes.
Okay, so okay,
Mm-hmm.
Dupree is my cousin.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
and I don't know how many pages, a couple pages, something in that book about my family, the Greers, Stows. I'm a Rutherford, of course, but yeah, that book is I'm really in that book, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, you know Dr. Neal then, right?
I do.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I think he referenced him today.
Mhm.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. But see, we don't know what we don't know.
No, that's true.
So we have to really delve into it and be persistent with it
Yeah.
to get it out there so that we would know and our children would know and our other cultures around us would know because all of us are together.
Oh, yeah.
We're not isolated. So we've had all kinds of interested people coming in of all races to view the museum and
Right.
Get information. And I had one person to come in with her daughter. She was a junior high school, middle school
Right.
student, Caucasian, and she has learned a lot about our culture from Lincolnton.
Okay.
And she has learned about our culture. And that day, she and her mom were doing the museum tour thing. They were going to different museums
Right.
so they could learn as much as they could about each one and see what was different and what was there that they were interested in. And the young lady stood there and shared with me things that she had read about the sharecroppers,
Right.
and about working on farms and that type of thing.
Yeah,
It blew
yeah.
my mind. I said, she knows a lot. She's a middle school student,
Good.
and she's interested.
Yep.
So this is what it's all about, getting them to come out of that fixed, and you probably heard Dot say this a lot, the fixed mindset
That's right.
to the growth mindset.
That's right.
So that we can get the most out of what's out there and the facts that are there so that we can grow.
Do you see the museum expanding?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes. It has already. When we began, we had some things in there, but very few.
Right.
But now it is, I mean, it's bursting at the seams.
Right, right. And
Yes,
that's
you
why
said-
I asked, yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. So we're going to have more space. We are forward-thinking people. So
what I'm
we're
talking
going
about.
to have more space. We're going to have more artifacts
Right.
and more inclusive of other cultures as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And I know you guys also have summer programs.
Yes.
And a lot of my students were in that program.
Oh,
and
really?
yes, and that's been a
Yes.
positive impact
Yes.
on the community. And we really
Good.
enjoyed it. My daughter was
Yes.
able to work there, volunteer,
Okay.
That's
and
right.
just different things. But it's great that they were able to already make an impact in the community.
Sure,
And trying
sure.
to help.
Wow.
In 4 weeks.
Yes.
4
yes,
weeks.
It was, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's growing.
So there's I guess ongoing sessions or things going on there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised Dot didn't mention some of the things too. We have a calendar filled with things that
I'm sure she did.
yes, and I brought just a few pages of things that we're doing. But anyway, in February we're going
Right.
to celebrate our first year,
Oh.
and we're going to have a black tie event. We have a lot of things going on,
Right.
and I don't want to try to name all of them and make a mistake. But anyway, the field is broad,
Good.
and Dot and the board work on things to make sure that things are done decently and in order, and
Sure.
that they are inclusive. As a matter of fact, at our grand celebration, we're going to have a professional singer who happens to be my niece, opera singer Shanka Falls Pettis.
Oh no, I was thinking about somebody else, but okay.
Yeah, and other.
Oh no, wait a minute.
Shanka.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway,
Wow.
we have a large calendar of events that are taking place. We're not sleeping. We're not sitting still. We are working. You can tell by the energetic curator that we have
Oh, yeah.
that we're on the move for the people. I mean,
Right.
this is not about us. It's about what we can do to serve. We're servants. And we want to make sure that we're serving the people the way God intends for us to through this museum.
How long though had the idea of a museum been around before it actually happened?
Well, I don't know exactly how long, but I know Dot has had it in her mind. And as I
Right.
said, Jimmy Biggs had it in his mind.
Sure.
But it had not become a fruition until last year.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was a lot of thinking and praying and, and different churches have had things in their particular churches
Right.
sharing information during the month of February, especially like my church and Tabernacle and
Sure.
the other churches. But to come together and say, okay, we need to have a museum, I can't give you the length of time that has been discussed.
Right.
But I do know that when we talked with Dot, it was full speed ahead. Like, this,
Right.
God gave it to us and let's do it.
Right. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
so, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah. Heck
It
yeah.
really, really is.
I'm glad that it's at Loray.
Mhm.
Because I just like that facility. I think it's pretty cool to that it's been kind of revamped and
Yeah.
reused or whatever. But it's a great looking space.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that means a lot too. I'll be honest with you. It would have been, it would not have been a good thing for me to see it in some dilapidated home.
Right.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So the fact that it's there and in a nice facility, I think that speaks volumes.
I agree. I agree. And then the possibility of expanding,
Right.
because there's space there. There's a lot of space.
Mhm.
Not saying that that's where we will be forever,
Right.
but you have that possibility
Oh,
for
sure.
growth.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're excited.
That's good.
Yeah, excited. And as he said, the young people are benefiting because they are, and they learn. In those
Mhm.
4 weeks,
Oh,
you'll be
yes.
surprised what they learned and retained.
Right.
It wasn't, we did everything from the Negro National Anthem all the way down to the things about the farm and everything with them. And
Sure.
there are different sites that they would go to, different locations within the museum to do hands-on.
Was there anything that either of you learned from the museum that surprised you?
Learning about the various persons within the area who
Right,
have done
right.
things. I knew about Miss Sykes and Dot and
Mhm,
others,
mhm.
but some of the other people I did not know, yes.
Right.
Right.
So we're learning.
Oh yeah, and like you said, and some of the things, the equipment and different things that was used,
Yeah.
and just honestly to hear people talk about how they used it,
Right.
really opened my eyes because
Mhm.
I think sometimes we are so used to just having these different things, and just to really think about, and be like, wow, that's what they were using back then.
And
you know?
again, not that far.
Right, not that far removed from
Right.
that. Right.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
So, and I just like, I think the thing that, even like when we were talking about the schools,
Mm-hmm.
even though they were segregated, there was still a sense of pride
Uh-huh.
that,
Yeah.
Yes.
that sometimes I
Yes.
feel is lost today
Right.
for our children, especially African American children. So, my parents, they were in the segregated schools as
Right.
well. And so, when I see those pictures and
Yes.
see all the different activities they had,
Mhm.
even in a time where they were not allowed to do so many things, they were still excelling
So true.
and
Yeah.
still pushing. And it wasn't just, the socioeconomic type stuff. What you saw was people taking what they had, still had pride in it,
Yeah.
and still learning.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I think impressed me the most. When they didn't have all the things we have today, to me, I feel like they excelled more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
Yeah, that's a favorite motto of mine. We take, as a matter of fact, from school, Talladega, we take what we have and make what we want for Christ and all humanity. So we do that, and that's what our parents were doing.
Right.
Right.
You know, but as farmers, we thought, oh my goodness, these old machines, this plow, you got to let the mule pull it and that type of
Right.
thing. But they were teaching us responsibility
Yes.
and how to use what you had, still opening our minds to other things.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't
Yeah.
have all the technology, obviously, so you had to do more reading,
Mm-hmm.
more thinking, and you had to organize. And that carried from the homes into the schools.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
parents were more supportive of the schools then, I think, than now, totally. Now, we have parents who are supportive of the sports
Right,
and that type thing, but the academics, our teachers and our parents were like family. As a
Right.
matter of fact, the Wilsons were like my second parents.
Okay.
Yeah, at Lincoln High. As a matter of fact, that's how I got to Talladega, because they were from that area, and of course, took me down there.
Okay.
And a few of us to visit the area and that type of thing. They were concerned about the total person, not just the athletes.
Right. Right.
You know, and the athletes today are thought of, cherished, so to speak, because they can bring good records to the schools.
Sure. Yeah.
This is a personal thing with
And
me.
and funding.
Funding.
Yeah.
Yes, and my thing, even though I played basketball, but obviously not professionally, but my thing was be a student first and then an athlete.
Right.
And that's what we shared with our students all the way through high school. You are a person first, you are a student, then you're an athlete.
Yes.
And that mindset has sort of escaped some of us.
You think so?
Yeah, because the parents
Yes.
will push that. They will do whatever it takes to get that child to play football, basketball, or whatever, but they don't put as much energy, I don't think, in the academic aspect of it. Like the books you were talking about, reading and
yeah.
that type thing.
I get that.
Yeah. And I'm from the old school. I'd like to see kids with books in their hands and learning something from that. Play sports after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my children can tell you that. They didn't participate in any extracurriculars until they got their academics.
Oh, come on, Mom.
Yeah,
Come on, Mama.
that was important. That was important. And now they appreciate it
Oh,
Yes.
well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
because they see it, and guess what? They're trying to do the same thing with their children.
I mean, what kid wants to be disciplined, want to be told the right thing to do?
Right.
No, nobody.
Yeah, but then when you see your students out in the community, in the grocery store, Walmart, especially other places, and they remember you and they'll tell
Yes.
you they appreciate it.
Oh,
And I said,
absolutely.
oh my goodness, you all used to say that I was mean, though, Miss Beck. And they said, no, Miss Beck, you weren't mean. You were just fair, and you expected a lot from us, and
Right.
we appreciate that.
Oh, good.
You know, and I said, well, that's what it's all about. I
Right.
would not have done my job had I not done that. Treat you like I treat my own children.
Well, that's a good segue to this. I think it's the next thing. Okay, we can talk about National Authors Day. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that this is the thing that you do because that foundation is more important than the glamour
Oh,
of
absolutely.
being out on the basketball court or what have
Absolutely.
you. I
Yep.
mean, that's important.
Yeah.
But get this other first.
Well, yeah.
Read, think.
Mm-hmm.
You can think and learn the plays in basketball or football or what have you. You can do the same with those other areas.
It's funny you say that. I've got a quote coming up here in a minute, but we'll talk about that in just a second. But National Authors Day, I had to pull this up every year on November 1st. Millions of people celebrate authors and the books that they write on National Authors Day. This is one of those days that I know about it, then I quickly forget about it. Not saying that's a good or a bad thing. It is what it is. I think it takes a lot for me to pick up a book and read it. That's not right. I have to be really interested in whatever the content is, and then I'll read the heck out of it.
Right.
But just reading. I know some people just read and jump. They just read any and everything. My grandson is like that, and I'm like, hey, brother, good for you. Your pops wasn't quite like that, but thank God you're doing it. I'm very proud of you. But was this talked about today at the museum?
About the reading,
No, I'm sorry, National Authors Day.
yes. As a matter of fact, that's why we had I guess you could say appreciation
Oh,
for
that's
Miss
right.
Sykes.
That's
Yes,
right. That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Because she's local. She was local.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there were others there who had done books or whatever as well. As a matter of fact, we have books in the museum, local writers,
Right.
you know. But that was the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We think of authors away, or we think about the ones from the past.
Sure.
But there are those living right among us.
Oh yeah.
So that was the purpose today, yes, to focus on her contribution, and others like her in the area who have done things that need to be mentioned.
Sure.
We need to know about. We walk around every day seeing people not knowing that these people have really contributed something.
Right.
You know, It's
Yeah.
worth reading. I enjoyed her time in my classroom, Ms. Sykes. She and Dot, they just came in as if they'd been there all the time.
Right.
And talked about themselves and their work or what have
Sure.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids loved it.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think it motivated some of them because I had them keeping journals anyway.
Uh huh.
So that gave them a chance to write their reactions
Sure,
to the
sure,
visits.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this the next one? Yeah, let me just read a couple of things I pulled from different magazines. But
Okay.
why, because we're talking about reading in general, why American students haven't gotten better at reading in 20 years? So it says, the longstanding view has been that the first several years of elementary school should be devoted to basic reading skills. History, science, and the arts can wait. After all, the argument goes, if kids haven't learned to read, a task that is theoretically accomplished by third grade, how will they be able to gain knowledge about these subjects through their own reading? Does that make sense? kind of, sort of, maybe.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
kind of, sort of. I tell you, in the elementary realm, we do know that's the foundation of trying to help our children learn how to read. But I don't think I do believe in focusing on reading and the concepts of reading. But you also use the things like history, science, and arts to enhance that.
Right,
And,
right. Yeah,
and like you said, if you find the book that you enjoy reading, or if you find something in science or
Right.
art that you like
Right.
reading, guess what? You're improving your reading skills.
exactly.
So I think reading is included in all of those. So I think
Yes.
it shouldn't, you shouldn't take that away. I believe all of those things should be included, but you can gain the knowledge through reading and improve your reading
Right.
Exactly.
doing those subjects.
Yeah.
Well, the second paragraph is unfortunately the same. Didn't realize I did that. Sorry about that, people. So we're going to go on. This is a education week. Okay, literacy is the basic building block for the rest of an academic career and the lifetime that follows it. Research shows that kids who come from homes where reading was a priority and they were read to by their parents perform better academically throughout their lives. Only 53% of children ages 3 to 5 are read to every day by a family member. Wow, I ain't got to read any more than that. But that is true, though.
That's true.
That's
That's
true.
a true statement.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Can you tell it in schools and in students that you see that they're not, I don't know, not reading at home or not taught to read at home or not even pushed to read more than what they're doing in school?
Yes.
Is that evident? Okay.
It's evident. Yes. You can see it in their performance, in their attitudes. When you give an assignment,
Right. Yeah.
do I have to?
Right, that's it.
But those who have had that foundation
Right.
usually excel faster
Sure.
and enjoy the reading and the combination. You can't separate them. They enjoy because they're used to it. There is a saying that children learn what they live. So if they are not in that environment, they aren't going to learn to love to read, talk,
That is true.
discuss, that type of thing. I would tell my students all the time, talk to your parents. They don't even talk to each other.
It's so true.
Go home. My parent works third shift. Okay, speak to mom when she wakes up. Leave a note on her pillow.
Right.
I
right,
love you,
right,
Mom. Have a
right.
blessed day, or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
But communicate.
Yeah.
Sit down at the table and talk.
That's important.
Talking while you're eating, you have that conversation going. You're getting everybody involved.
Right.
That does a number of things. One, it lets the kid know I'm important.
Oh, yeah.
They care about me.
Yep.
They want to share. They ask me what I did in school today. Wow. Something just that simple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gets them involved. But those who don't have that opportunity, I know there are jobs and different things that have parents caught up in doing this, that, and the other, and may
Sure.
not spend as much time. But a little time each day is better than no time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
the key.
agree.
Everybody's not going to read the same amount, or the same length of time,
Right.
but sometime take them away from the iPads and smartphones or whatever, and let them read, talk, discuss. What I had mine to do the 5 W's and sometimes the H. You want to know?
Who, what,
Who?
when, where, how, and what. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because you'd learn that in journalism too. You have to learn that in journalism.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. Yes. But they do. They appreciate it, and they'll tell you later on, and they move faster.
Right.
And the other kids feel like, well, I'm not important. But then the teacher has a responsibility to let them know they are important
Right.
and get them involved in a manner that they can become readers or participants in the discussions or what
So,
have you.
Torben, let me ask you this. I mean, have you noticed, as a principal and as a facilitator, as a teacher, if you find a student that is not reading well, are there things in place that really help that student, or?
Yes. What we have at my school, we do have, we are a Title I school, so we're able to use those federal funds to get reading tutors. So I have 2 retired teachers who
Oh.
will also come in and work on the foundational skills. We're also able to have a reading specialist who works with our kindergarten through 2nd grade students.
Right.
And she pulls those who are weak in some areas aside and give them that extra help that they need.
Sure.
And so we do have things in place because it is needed, and it has positive results when we're able to do that. And so, and unfortunately, I wish we had more.
Right, right, right.
But we do have those things in place in a lot of our schools in the county. They have reading tutors and just reading specialists that are set aside to help those struggling readers.
Let me ask you this, and both of you guys can answer. What is, in your view, but what is the ultimate school?
Oh man, wow!
What does it
Ultimate
have? You know what I mean? That's what
Right.
I'm asking.
Oh, man.
To me, the ultimate school, number one, you have caring teachers. You got to have strong teachers and knowledgeable teachers who care about the children,
Right.
and who are going to build those relationships. To me, that is the ultimate school, because once the relationship is built,
Well, I was going to say, okay.
they can take those students anywhere and
Okay.
get them to learn. I know a lot of people think they need all the equipment, all the
Technology
tech, and all that stuff,
and-
but I need a great teacher. And if I have a great teacher, they'll move mountains for me, and they'll get the students to believe that they can move mountains.
Right.
So to me, in order to have, to me, the perfect school is whenever you have great educators there who are there for the students, going to build those relationships, not going to let them fall between the cracks.
Right, right.
Not going to have pity on them, different things because of where they come from. If anything, they're going to push them harder
Sure.
to make it. So to me, I need great educators.
Exactly. I concur. And also administrators who are caring enough to see to it that this is what's going on in the schools.
That they can
Yes.
recognize it.
Yes,
Oh,
Okay.
yes, and do their part.
Sure.
You know, because it's not the teachers over here and the administrators over there. It's a
Right.
family. Everybody has to
Yes.
work for the same goal.
Oh, yes.
And then
Interesting.
include the parents,
have
however that
parents.
can be done, and
Right.
have the parents involved.
Right, right.
Yeah, you know, kids, teachers, administrators, parents. You got a good school.
Yes.
Everybody
Wow.
working toward the same goal.
So not all of the technology and the latest
No.
stuff.
No.
That can help,
Of
but
course.
but the foundation, I think, would be
Right.
those things.
Right. Some of the
Yeah.
basic skills, but just like you said, sitting down, writing that pen to paper, learning how to read that book, highlight, underline,
Yes.
and just really breaking the words apart.
Sure,
and,
sure.
and so, yeah, you know, we see a lot of programs out there, a lot of
Right.
that say, oh, we can help your child learn to read and
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And, you know, and a lot of schools will go with programs, you know, saying, but I still say it's the basic foundations of reading that our teachers have to give to our students. And,
Interesting.
Yeah, you can have all the equipment, but if it's
Right.
not implemented properly,
Right. That's right.
But
It's
that,
good.
that was really kind of telling what you said about the relationship. Not that I haven't heard it, but it's nice to hear that again. And if you don't have that that's like being in business. If you don't have a relationship with someone, then that business is not going to do
it's
well.
not going to
Right.
thrive.
Wow. Okay. No, I like that's pretty cool. Here we go. Tablets versus books.
Both are important.
They are. They are.
Both are important. But being from the old school, I prefer the books, even though I have a tablet.
Right. Right.
But everything in its place is fine. I like to read, highlight, write notes to myself in the margins and that type of thing. Everybody's not that way. But the book lends itself to that. Also, I think the book allows you to be more thoughtful and creative. Is that the word I want to use? You get more involved.
Right.
You get that tablet, you're pushing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But if you're reading, you stay focused on that, and you can react to it. Keep a journal if necessary, whatever. But I think it stimulates you more. I'm not against the technology.
No.
But
hear
I
you.
think that particular method of reading for comprehension, for thinking, for thinking outside the box, for not feeling that I have to just stick to what that says on the tablet. I can come up with my own conclusions by reading this
Exactly.
and thinking it through, that type thing. And that gets the whole person involved.
Right.
The whole person is involved in that process, whereas with the tablet, our fingers, whatever, are involved.
Well, I'm just going to read a couple. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just
Okay.
going to look. We can take a look at this. Pros and cons arguments of what did it say? Tablets and textbooks. So the pro is tablets help students learn more material faster. Is that fair?
I don't think necessarily so.
I don't think it helps them learn it faster. I was just thinking about what you were saying about a book. I mean, we have our students use the sticky notes
Right.
to write down your thoughts.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And to me, it helps. To me, that's what help you learn and relearn something is being able to put it down and put it in the book,
Right.
going back to it and see it. The tech you can take anywhere, and the tech you can kind of use on different
Right.
apps and different things like that. But I don't think it helps them learn it faster.
They get through the assignment faster because
Right.
they've gone through there and that's it.
Sure.
Right.
But they
Sure.
haven't had time to really think because their focus is getting finished.
Getting it done. Yeah.
Yes,
Yep,
they aren't
yep, yep.
thinking on the learning processes.
Right.
Okay.
And one of the things as a teacher, we tell our teachers whenever they do conferences with our students as they read, it's easier to do that whenever you can also, the student can go back and say, well, this is what I thought. They're able to tell you
Oh,
a little
true.
bit more about
Yeah.
it. And the
Yeah.
teacher can actually see it and read it as well.
Sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
With the
Exactly.
tablets, I know you can underline and different things like that,
Right.
but sometimes you really don't get that personal,
Uh-huh.
almost like relationship type to be able to
Sure,
discuss
yeah.
the book.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other point. You're isolated.
Right. Yeah.
Go over there and read. Okay. And then what? There's no interaction.
Right.
Well, this thing says like Pro 2, 81% of K through 12 teachers believe that tablets enrich classroom education. I think I think it does enrich. I don't know that you have to. I wouldn't believe in a tablet only.
Exactly.
Right.
That's how.
That's just my
yes.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think it does help, and it
Help.
does help you enhance as a
Right.
supplement to use. But one of the things we see also, like some of those tablets we have in school, like Chromebooks and different things,
Right.
they stay at the school. So does the child have that at home? And some children are not allowed to take those things home from the school.
But can they log in at home to
Different programs like Google Classroom, if they have a
send?
device at
What's the
home.
other one? Cengage or something? Send.
Right, some things they can. Like we
Right.
also have one of the things, not the iStation, but the other thing that we're using, and you can log in at home on
Right.
that. But like I said, if a child does not have that at home or does not have Wi-Fi at home,
That is
it
true.
puts them at a disadvantage.
That is very true. In fact, they even talk about that. Also talked about the expense. It is more expensive, but they said tablets have too many distractions for classroom use. Okay, yeah. Reprint. Where's that one comment I saw? Many students do not have sufficient home internet bandwidth. That's what you were talking about.
Right.
Either they don't have enough or they don't have it at all.
Right.
That's right.
And I've had some parents come up and said, we were trying to work on the assignment. We had to go to the library
Yeah.
to be able to get
yeah,
internet
yeah.
access and different things like that. So we had to take that into consideration
Right.
when we're giving out different assignments.
Do
Exactly.
you see the use of a tablet coming down? Because when it first came out, it's like, oh, tablets.
Right.
And books they just went way down here. But is that becoming more equal now, you think, or no?
I think it depends on what the money situation is like for
Right.
the school system.
Yeah. yeah.
I think if they can afford to give that to them, they're trying to put in more things like that. So
Sure.
you'll see most schools trying to get to one-to-one. But also, though, I also have seen an increase, though, in buying regular books. Like reading books and different things
Sure.
like that. Now, I will say, like for with the budgets and different things, like when classroom books, like we used to get, we
Right.
used to get those books like
Yep.
that. Now that has gone down, and you've seen more people using like the internet and stuff to get their information and
Right.
be able to give it to the students as they
Mhm.
take notes.
Right.
So, but I still see like reading books and stuff. That's still high because we're
Yes.
still doing things trying to get more of that classroom sets of reading books.
Mhm.
But like regular sets of like what we used to have back in the day,
Right.
those type books like that has gone down.
You know, something else I noticed too, a couple of things, but one is if a student has a tablet, they're sitting there typing it in all day long or whatever, but they're never writing.
There you go.
Aren't they losing something by never writing?
Yes.
That's right. Yes. That's one of the things I want to mention. Using my grands as an example, some of them.
Right.
They are in schools that require them to do summer reading, and they have to be books.
Right.
They have to get the books,
Mhm.
and they have to do the journal and that type thing. They have to write, answer those questions that we talked about earlier. They have to
Sure.
go through and highlight and then write a report
Mhm.
from that, which keeps them in tune with that subject matter in that particular book.
Yep. Yeah.
And the teacher sees that child has had to read in
Mhm.
order to know that. rather than just going through on the tablet. Now, they can use the tablet if they want to, but they
Right.
have to read the book and have evidence that they use the book, because you have to use the note-taking in the margins.
Oh, true.
Yeah, there are some schools that do that. So they are using books and the tablet, but it's a limited tablet assignment. But the basic summer reading, they have a list of books they have to read and do reports on.
That can be a little concerning, though, this whole piece about not writing.
Yes, because
Yes.
the writing is atrocious in many places.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that, but the writing
No,
is,
I agree.
Right, right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
it bothers me because I want to make sure that everything is written correctly.
Right.
Yes.
So, and they'll run it by me, Nana, what do you think about that? Go back and look at
And
the
you say,
list.
what is that?
Yes,
Right.
right. Nana, they don't teach us to do cursive writing. Nana wants you to
Wow.
write cursive writing.
So that's gone now.
Unfortunately, they're trying to bring
They're
it back.
trying to bring it
Sue.
back.
They're trying to bring it back.
Trying to bring it back.
All right. So when did it leave? Like 1985 or something?
No.
It was-
Oof,
I want to say maybe
90.
it's kind of like in the late 90s.
Oh, it's-
90s,
really?
late 90s, yes.
So not too far.
Not too far
No.
away, no.
Because,
But,
we have students now, like in high school, they were like, well, we didn't learn to write in cursive. They didn't learn. So
Right.
we're like, all this time, they were never taught.
So they,
Right.
how do they even sign their name?
they don't, they print. And that's what I would get them, I would say, no, no, no.
Really?
Yes.
This line says print, this one says signature.
Right.
Wow.
So you have to write your name.
Who said get rid of it?
I wish I knew. I probably, but anyway, yes.
I mean, does that kind of thing come down though from like what's it called, the NEA or whatever it's called?
I think some of the things that happen when we talk about testing and the different things, the state requirements, now they test us in reading and in math. So now you have teachers focusing on making sure that they get the reading part right and the
Right.
math part. But the thing that goes lacking is the writing.
The writing.
Even though the
Yes.
writing is a part that will help increase
Exactly.
the reading, because you're
Yes.
able to write and put your thoughts down on
Right.
paper.
Right.
So I believe that one of the issues that is going on right now, they were so focused on making sure they have these scores in reading and in math.
Right.
And then during the day, during a school day, this is how long they have to teach this. You have to have so many minutes and hours on math, so many on reading,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
the writing, and we see that, and that's why we're trying to attack it now.
Do we need more schools?
That is a very interesting question.
In some areas, maybe so, because the class sizes are too large,
Right.
for one thing. I know that when I was in school, if you had 25, 30, 40 students, you taught them.
25 to 40?
Yes.
That seems like a lot, but.
Yeah, but now they're trying to reduce in the lower levels anyway. They're trying to
Yes.
reduce that number to what, like 20, maybe?
Yes,
15 or
right
20?
now
That's
it's
a
at
really
20
good class
and-
size.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mhm.
But the thing about writing is still a concern for me, because they are teaching the test, as you said, teaching to the test, as opposed to teaching to think, to write, to express.
Right.
And the kids have lost them. They'll tell you, no, the teacher says it's okay. I tell my grands all the time, no, it's not okay.
Right.
Nana wants you to write it correctly.
Right.
And
And
my
then-
teachers,
yeah,
yeah,
go
my
ahead.
teachers, they're attacking it right now. They're because now, and even with my children, I see if they have a reading assignment, they have to write a paragraph or two paragraphs on what they read.
Right. Sure.
So we know
So
that
the comprehension piece.
right. So they
Mhm.
know writing is needed and it has to be back, put back in.
Mhm.
And even like with our kindergarten, they have, they do like writing workshops. So
Okay.
the children are allowed to, the teacher will model it for them, and then the teacher will allow the students to come up with their own stories as they try to learn to write them. With the students who can do that and the teachers who do that, the students, you see a lot of great growth in those
Exactly.
students.
It's coming back, but too slowly.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I believe that.
And the kids are suffering. You fill out an application.
I was
and
going to
you-
say, yeah, long term, this is not good for them.
No,
Right,
no. And they can't write
Mhm.
information on the application. They print everything. If you have to write a paragraph or whatever about yourself or whatever, it's printed. No cursive writing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's needed.
Yes.
That's
It's needed.
interesting.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Folks, we actually are towards the end of the show.
Really?
It's been close to an hour.
Really?
Yeah, it's been close to it.
I know. Time flies.
But this cue is here because this is the part of the show where I start asking you guys just a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. Okay, nothing too crazy, but interesting questions. So, number one, if you were home on a rainy Sunday afternoon, what movie would you guys watch?
I can't think of a particular movie, but I like to watch the Hallmark Channel.
Really?
That channel has interesting family
Oh,
movies.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not into the wild stuff. But I want something that from which I can learn
Right,
something
right.
positive and that appears to be clean,
Wholesome.
wholesome, wholesome.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
I like to watch the action type movies. I do like comedies as well, so I
Right.
may try to find me an action movie
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah, I like. What's the movie? Gladiator.
Yes.
I even watched
Russell Crowe
that.
and all that. Yes.
Yeah.
That's my man.
watched
I'm
that.
like, yeah, I see you, man. Okay. Number two, political climate. What do you think about this climate that we're in? Just in general.
World of confusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Confusion.
It's a little scary too, isn't it?
Very.
It's scary, and just seeing where it's kind of like everyone's out for themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're really not looking out for each other.
Right.
And just silly things going on. You know, we see it in the state level, federal level, you know, even in the local level.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. Yeah.
But it's almost
National.
like, you know, I'm not trying to look out for your interests and my, you know, like our interests can't work together. It's
Right.
it has to be about mine, and I have to get my interest first.
Yep.
And I think we've really forgotten about why you were there.
Oh, I
You
think
voted
you're right.
by, you know, by our, you know, by the people
Right.
to represent the people. And,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, Me Too, those things. Do you think you think they've pushed the needle at all? You think they're doing effective work? Those organizations. I mean, look, if you have no comment, you have no comment. Doesn't matter. I'm just asking.
I think they can be effective.
Right.
I think that they are making some progress in some areas,
All right.
Right.
but I think there's much left to be done.
Oh,
If we get caught up in certain areas, it's
Right.
maybe it's supposed to be narrow, but I think it should be expanded
okay.
to be more inclusive,
Right. And,
so that the criticism about it being just for you folk
Right.
right.
can be dispensed off and get on with the whole purpose.
Right.
Yeah. Understand what it is and do the
Right.
purpose.
I
yes.
think we have to be careful and not become what we're fighting.
Yes.
Right.
And sometimes when we go too deep and look at one different color and attack one just color, it's a little bit of everything going on. So I think we have to be careful not to become what we're trying to fight against.
Right.
point.
But I do believe we definitely need to stand up.
Right.
There's too much of that going on, and a lot of times I think we've gotten to where, like I said, it's almost as if we have forgotten.
Right.
We have forgotten
Yeah.
where we come from, number
Yeah.
one. And so when things like that happen, we do have to stand up.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have to compromise your values,
Right.
to get along in this world. You shouldn't,
Right.
because you aren't doing anything but adding more confusion
Right.
and
I'm with you.
not helping anybody
Mm-hmm.
because you're concerned about yourself alone
Mhm.
as opposed to the total.
Yeah.
And we as a people have given up too much of the basic training and expectations that we've had over the years to become like somebody else because that's the end thing to do.
Right.
But if we could get back to being ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and use the gifts that we have been given and share those to help somebody else, then we can help the world to become a better place.
I agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I agree with that. Hold on, folks. Let me. Oh, there we go. Sometime today would be awesome. There we go. Okay. Immigration. Now, I'm sure your thoughts on immigration is pretty much the same thing as it is on the political climate thing. So I can actually kind of skip that. So, all right, check this out. What part of the human face is your favorite?
If I had to say my favorite, it would be the eyes.
Okay.
It's just,
All right.
it's something about looking into someone's eyes, and it's kind of, to me, it's like you can kind of see what they're about.
Yeah,
And to me, the eyes tell a lot about people.
Yeah,
I agree.
because the eyes are the windows to the soul. And and the mind and
Kathleen, you pulled that one from Sojourner Truth right there. Sojourner Truth is speaking through you on that one.
and I
Looking
believe
at you
that.
through your eyes. I can see your soul. Okay, all right, Reverend. Let me see. Oh, what's your favorite restaurant? Didn't have to be here. It can be anywhere. Could be your kitchen. I don't know.
Really, I don't have a favorite restaurant.
Really?
I really don't. I used to, but I don't any longer. I don't like eating out a lot. I do sometimes because I like to be with family, and that's one of the
Right.
places you can do that because the
Sure.
houses are not large enough anymore
Right.
to do
right.
that. But I really don't.
I like Japanese restaurants. Like the
Just in
hibachi.
general?
I like
Yeah.
for it, cooked right in front of me, different things like that.
Oh,
Okay.
but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah. We
That
had
is
one
good
here.
stuff.
It was Shoguns was here, and they're gone now. So
Right.
we had to go out a couple other places. But
Yeah.
but that's my family. We all loved it.
That is good food though.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. That is
So-
really good.
Yeah.
Favorite drink or cigar? If you guys drink or smoke, I do both, by the way.
I do neither.
I was gonna say no, I don't. Say I never smoked.
Okay. No, that was good. I like that one. So where do you go when you close your eyes and inhale and then exhale? Where do you take take yourself?
A nice, warm, moderately warm, comfortable view, like by the ocean. I can think, I can meditate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can inhale all the air that nature brings. I can see, and I'm not trying to be so religious, but I can see the workings and imagining the workings
Oh, absolutely.
of
Yeah.
God
Yeah,
through,
absolutely.
through this great earth that soothes me.
All right, go ahead, Bishop. All right. Go ahead. Speak it, girl.
For me, I like the mountains. I do,
Yeah.
and I do like the cabins when you can look out.
Right.
And like you say, in the morning time, and it's just like wow.
That is nice.
And so I can really, like you said, just when I'm there, it's just a nice place to just think about, and just like you said, sit and just be there.
Be there.
You know, we stayed in a cabin, it's been years ago now, but I'm glad we got there in the daytime, because nighttime, you couldn't see anything. It was because the cabin is dwarfed by all these huge trees.
Right. Mhm.
And you walk out, 'cause I had to go out to the car and get something. I closed that door and I'm like, I was saying some things I can't say right now. But I'm like, no. But but it was pitch black. But yeah, I love the cabin idea. Was great. That was superb. But I know for me, what was my question? Where did I go when I close my eyes?
Close your eyes, yes.
So much like you, I take myself to a beach, blue water, white sand kind of a thing, and I can just think.
Yeah.
I can see my thoughts, that kind of thing. I love that. It's funny. What's something you've tried but you'll never ever do it again? Don't know, do you?
I can't think of a thing that I've tried that I'll never.
Is it
do
like
again.
some type thing, or just like food?
It
or
can be
just
anything. It can be anything.
Anything.
You could say, I've tried dumplings. I hate them. I won't ever try it again. Okay, cool.
I think the only thing that I tried before that I may not ever try again would be like sushi. I just didn't.
You didn't like it?
No, I couldn't get into the
Really,
the
dude,
raw.
I love.
And I
some
know
sushi.
I said like my sister and all they love it, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they,
yeah.
they try to get me into it, and I was just like, I can't get past it, you know.
I guess for you, it was more about thinking the whole rawness of it and
Right,
stuff.
right.
Yeah, I don't. I'm way beyond that. I don't care if it's raw or not. I know. I'm sorry, Kathleen.
just
but
love it.
I do.
That's okay.
Throw me some hot sauce. Throw me something on there.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I'm good to go. I'll eat it up.
Wow.
I love me some sushi, man. Ooh, wee.
Wow.
Well, I'll say this. Let me clarify. I love the sushi that you get when you go to a sushi bar.
Oh, okay.
You can
Okay.
buy it at Harris
Yeah,
Teeter,
yeah.
whatever, and
It's
it tastes good, but it's different.
Different,
Like,
yeah.
Gotcha.
This will do in a pinch. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. But if you go to an actual sushi restaurant,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah. I've had something make you cuss.
It must
Well,
have
I'm
been
at to
good.
try it again. I'm at to, see.
I can't. I can't say what I want to say. All right. So, what is your favorite place to travel?
I love traveling, period.
Right.
And,
You don't have a favorite place though?
Well, I want to go back to Hawaii.
Oh, do you?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I want to go. I have not gone to Australia.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go to Jerusalem. I just want to travel. I do that occasionally.
Yeah.
But those places I do want. I went to England. I want to go back there. Yeah. So.
I would love to go to Paris because my wife, like she teaches French, so I
Right.
have my translator with me.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
true.
also, she visited Paris. And
Oh, so
she
she's
loved it. So
gone.
yeah,
She's
she's
gone.
gone to
Did,
study.
well, wait.
So-
Was this before you guys met us?
Oh yeah, it was before all that time.
Oh,
It was before
okay.
that
Like, why did she take you?
no, it was before that time.
Okay.
Before that time.
All
but,
right.
But I would love to. I would love to go with her because she taught, about all the awesome things they had there.
Right.
So I would love to go and visit that.
It's a. I've not been to Paris, but I have been to France. But it is an experience. I loved it.
Really.
Oh, love that.
I forgot to mention I'd like to go to Africa. We had an opportunity when I was still working.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
We had plans, had money and everything to go to Africa
Mm-hmm.
when 9/11 struck. So we had to cancel all of that. Miss Robinson,
Oh
and
yes.
of course,
yes.
yeah,
Oh yes.
she
Okay.
always took kids different places, and they auditioned and qualified to sing in the international choir.
Okay. Okay.
And we were going to go to Africa that year, and I said, okay, Ghana.
Wow.
And we couldn't go, so that's still in my mind.
Yeah.
I'd like to go.
I want you to go.
Yeah, you've been.
No, I have not to Africa. No. Where did I go? Egypt. One other place I went to, but no, something like Ghana and
Yeah.
no, I've
Yeah.
not been there. No,
Yeah, I want.
I want to go.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, we gotta get a trip.
I know it's a good idea.
Yeah, and we'll include you. And then
Oh,
swing
thank
by
you.
Paris. Okay.
Here's the last question. You guys are gonna love this. Who or what is God?
God is a spirit,
Okay.
and they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. He is the creator of the universe.
See, there it is again.
He is my savior.
Sure.
He is my guide, my director. He dispensed the Holy Spirit to be my guide. He is my provider.
Right.
He is a source of everything that I am and that I have
Gotcha.
and will have.
Okay.
Yeah.
God is my central force for what I do,
Yeah.
and He, He has led me my whole career. Because if you would have told me when I was in high school that I was going to be an educator and go into education, I'd have laughed and I said that's not the plan, and.
That's
but-
not my plan, buddy. It's not for me. Just tell him.
So when it came to me that I wanted to go into education,
Right.
it was this overall feeling that I knew he was showing me that.
Right.
The funny part, even though he shows you that, doesn't mean I'm going to do it right then.
Right,
I
of
graduated
course,
in
of course.
'94 and I didn't start teaching until like '97.
Okay.
So all between that time, but each thing that he took me through, I was a teller at the bank here.
Right.
Taught me my people skills.
Yep. Yep.
I also worked in the group home and
Yeah.
worked as a social worker, which really made me understand what families go through and made me more thankful for
Sure.
the family I grew up in.
Yep.
So when I went through all those things and finally got into education, he had given me these different skill sets
Right.
to help me where I'm at today.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
he's opened up doors that I know that I would not have been able to open up.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
and he gave me different blessings with that. And so with the family and different things, I just know in this world with everything I've gone through, good, bad, ugly, and anything, he's been there with me. So he's my everything.
Everything. Those
That's right.
tests, those preparation skills.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah. When you let him order your steps, that is.
That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Folks, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. I've got a few more things I got to go through, some programming notes and stuff like that. But thank you for coming on the show. I know. Okay, wait. I know Dot made you. I know you made him, Dot.
Not really. She just says, Kathleen, you are the person to go. And I said, okay.
But did you have fun?
I did.
Okay.
Oh, I
And I'm
love it.
glad.
Thank you.
As
Oh,
a
yeah.
ma-
I
yeah.
really enjoyed it.
As a
Yes.
matter of fact, before I left home, I prayed, God, let this be what you want it to be. This is my first time doing a podcast.
Right.
And I want to represent you well
Good.
and just calm my spirits.
Hey,
So-
I think you did.
okay.
That's just me. Just me. I'm just saying.
But it was a pleasure.
Good.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you did.
So next week we've got these shows coming up. On Monday is the reader with Lisa Crawford. I hit her up. I said, Lisa, what's your topic and who's your guest? She said, I'm working on it. I'm like, okay, fine. Tuesday, I have another show. Fabi Pressler is going to be on the show. She's an entrepreneur. It's one of those things where I've known Fabi we've known each other for years on social media. Never met, none of that. We talked maybe every blue moon on social media. We've never met, but she's coming on the show. She's going to be talking about being an entrepreneur. So we can certainly trade off notes as far as that's concerned. Then she's talking about this thing called Five-Fecta conference that's coming up. So that'll be interesting to hear about that. On Wednesday, frankly speaking, with Time at Farley, Nicole Harris is talking about they're both talking about cancel culture. I have no idea what it is, don't know what it means, but I'll find out on Wednesday. So it'll be Timon always brings these very interesting people, interesting topics. They're interesting because I've never heard of them. That didn't say a lot, I don't think either. But anyway, that's going to be on Wednesday. Thursday there was no show. I think Joel had a show scheduled, but he's going to be out of town, so he can't do the show. Friday, I have another show with Coach Kamey. She hasn't confirmed yet. I'm just saying that she's going to do it. Coach Kamey, Nicole, and Rick Swiner. Nicole and Rick are going to be Skyped into the show. They're in Raleigh, so we're going to just Skype them into the show. They're going to be right here on the big monitor, and we're going to be talking with them. And we're talking about work-life balance and how do you get through the holidays. I'm like, good luck is what I say. Work-life balance. You got 2 kids under 8, 7, 6, whatever it is. Good luck. So anyway, that's next week. Got to talk about Channel 13 real quick. And this is, as I was telling both of you guys on the way in, Channel 13 is that place where you go. If you've got if you were from a broadcaster and now you want to do your own podcast, if you've got a podcast in your home and your spouse is like, you got to get this out of here. I'm tired of these people coming through my house. This is the place you need to come and have your own podcast. There's no gear to bring. Everything is already here. So that part of it is fantastic. I had a couple of churches call, or someone to inquire about a couple of churches. It's my iPhone. You can have your Bible studies here. The upside, it's really the upside to everything, but since it's broadcast live, that way you're hitting not 50 or 100, but hundreds of people, sometimes thousands of people on your Bible studies, which is great. But again, it can be about anything. It could be conversation with the pastor. It could be conversation with whatever, first lady, whatever you got. But my point is, this channel, this station is here so you can utilize it for a fee. $150 a month, you get 2 shows, but there's no time limit on it and stuff like that. We can talk about all the particulars later, but that's Channel 13. Lastly, there is Crafted. Crafted is it's an online shopping network is what it is, and the focus is for those folks who go out there and they make their own jewelry, if they make their own leather goods, if they make soap, if they make whatever it is, this is the show for you. You come on, it's a live broadcast. We put your number on the screen. People begin to call, and listen, you got to make sure you have somebody that's able to answer the phone on the other end and take those orders. But that's what Crafted is. And again, the thing about Crafted too is that if you're not in the Charlotte area, hour and a half drive or whatever, you can be Skyped into the show. That part's kind of cool. You still have to send your product in so that we can, the host and whoever else is here in the studio can kind of showcase your product. It could be hand cream. It could be whatever it is. We can show the audience what you're talking about as you're on the big screen talking about how you made it or where it came from or those kinds of things. So that's what Crafted is about. First show is on the 15th. That's when it's going to debut from 8 to 10 is when it's scheduled. My guess is it'll probably go to 11. That's my guess. So anyway, that's Crafted, Channel 13, everything else. Folks, I thought this was a great show. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you for
Great to
having
meet
us.
both of you. You guys were phenomenal. And Dot, thank you. I know you're watching. I know you're critiquing, girl. But we're going to go ahead and end the show and see if I can get my music back up here. Can I? I can. And we will just see you guys. I'll see you on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesday, whatever it is. I'll see you guys next week. So everybody have a good one. We'll see you.
Awesome.
All right, let me go and cut the mic.